Such a wonderful day today, 2 years, Mr. Vaidyanathan. So fast time has flown, hasn't it?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, and it's been so hectic and so fun. What's your take on these last 2 years, very quickly, so then I can get into some of the questions our employees have been asking.
Okay. Firstly, heartiest compliments to all our employees for on the second foundation day of the bank, which basically the day of the merger of IDFC Bank with Capital First, which you now call IDFC First Bank. Employees have put in a hell of a lot to make this bank happen.
Yeah.
I think in 2 years we've progressed
Absolutely.
a really long distance.
Yeah. No, so, it hasn't been easy, has it? I mean, for example, we've had 6 quarters of prolonged losses. How was it really as expected when you actually merged with, when the companies merged? Did it turn out as expected?
Look, I don't want to duck this question. Yes, I mean, when the merger was announced, we thought of a certain set of plans and growth, etc. Now, the big story, the fact that we got a fantastic model in the lending model on one company, we got a fantastic model in the liability side on one company, put them together, we got a great bank. I think a lot of things has happened in the last 2 years to make that happen.
Yeah.
But in terms of losses, yeah, of course, there were a few bad accounts like Diwan Housing, Reliance Capital, and maybe a telecom company which bothered us. I think it's looking better now, the telecom company.
Yeah.
And some infrastructure loans.
Yeah.
I think these did disturb us.
Yeah.
But, we should not get very fussed on the problems. End of the day, the foundation is strong.
Yeah. So you talked about foundations. I mean, that's very interesting because you've been saying this a little, quite often lately. And even in your letter to shareholders in our last annual report, you talked about stability and so just explain that a little more for us. What do you mean by foundations?
See, when we say foundation, actually banks can be made really very, very strong.
Yeah.
If the deposit side is strong. Yeah. Because when the merger happened, IDFC Bank had lot of loans because it has inherited from IDFC Limited, the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Capital First is also lending because it is an NBFC. So both had lending plus lending, but lending plus lending is lending. Assets plus assets. So liability side, the bank was relatively weak, meaning the deposit side. But I think in 2 years, the amount of distance we've covered is really amazing. Just to share with you, our CASA has grown from some 8.5% to 40% in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's foundation.
Yeah.
Because now with that foundation, you can now power up growth. Yeah. If we power up lending growth, it's not very difficult to power up lending growth. So you know it. Yeah. But if you power up lending growth without powering up the liability side, it would not be a very strong proposition. The other big thing, by the way, is also the nature of deposits. At merger just 2 years ago, 30%, 70% of the liability side was institutional deposits, like certificate of deposits, corporate deposits, large deposits. Today, it's 70% is retail.
Yeah.
So I think these are very sensational foundation blocks.
Absolutely. But some people say that, look, it's a 7% that is actually taking you, propelling our growth. Do you buy that?
See, yeah, of course. It is true that 7% is a very strong proposition for customers.
Yeah.
When savings rates are generally dipped in India. So, of course, there's a reason why customers should leave money with us.
Yeah.
But only 7% doesn't do the trick. Yeah. There's something about the image of a bank. We are seen as a clean bank, as a bank which does all the right things. It is, of course, a responsibility to sustain it like that all points of time. It's our personal responsibilities and professional responsibilities. But I think the image is very strong.
Yeah.
When you talk to foundation,
yeah.
So the foundation is, what we talked of liabilities is I say liabilities are the foundation of a bank. Liabilities mean deposits.
Yeah.
That is done. A foundation is many more actually.
Yeah.
It's culture, it's about how people engage with each other. If that edifice is weak, then people behave in a particular way. Right? Its foundation's got a lot more about just financials. It's about how the organization behaves, conducts, grows, thinks.
Yeah.
All these matters in foundation. And I think that's something we covered a lot of ground last year.
How long will it last? Is it like going to be forever? Because this is something that our employees are asking, and they're saying our customers are asking. So I wanted to just check with you. I mean,
what has happened in the last 2 years, our cash flow in the bank has dramatically gone up.
Correct.
You know, the amount of CASA we're generating every quarter, frankly, is more than our own needs.
Yeah.
So we become like too much cash surplus.
yeah,
So what do? So we have started reducing interest rates. So we haven't touched the base rate of 7%, the core rate, but we have brought down the interest rates above a particular ticket size. Earlier we were paying 7% through and through, like any ticket size.
Yeah.
We brought it down last month actually, I think in the June to September quarter, we brought it down saying that about 10 crores, we won't pay 7%. You come back to 5%, 4%, 3.5%.
yeah,
In January 1, which is 15 days from now,
Yeah.
we'll be paying 7% only up to 1 crore.
okay,
And above 1 crore, on a progressive basis, we'll bring it down to 5%.
Right.
So basically, the amount of cash in the bank is so high that we are bringing down the rates, but only on the incremental basis.
absolutely.
And I
So-
think over a period of time, it will bring down cost of funds for the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's good news. It just improves the margins from there.
Yeah, so you know the liability side is really doing brilliantly, but you know there's always questions also that talking our book is not grown. So for the last 2 years, our book has pretty much been where it has been, and particularly on the asset side. So you want you want to shed some light.
See, this
around
is something I want to share with all employees. Actually, I agree that
Yeah.
you know it's been a year. We said 1 lakh crores a year ago. We're still saying 1 lakh crore of loan book. Book has not grown. But you know what? This is very deliberate, Adrian. I just want all employees to know that our growth or lack of the loan growth is very deliberate. I told you at merger we had very wholesale deposits.
Yeah,
I, as the CEO, don't feel comfortable running the bank with wholesale deposits.
Yeah.
Because wholesale deposits can be withdrawn by the retail customers are very sticky. So we are very happy that last 2 years we've grown the retail liabilities as very sticky money.
yeah,
Therefore, now loan book will start growing now. And I'm pretty sure that quarter on quarter, every quarter from now on, our book will grow.
fantastic. So you talked about these small customers and stuff. So there's a deliberate strategy that you have for looking at these small customers, this retail segment, because we are always talking retail in the bank. Is that a deliberate thing?
First of all, it's of course retail, but I also want to say that wholesale is important because it is dealing with an important segment of the Indian ecosystem. But I don't want to confuse anybody that we are predominantly going to be retail. Right? The word predominantly means that largely. Why? Because we have developed, unique capabilities. It's not an easy capability. And, our ability to finance people for 50,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees at scale over millions of customers is a very unique capability. And if we have that capability and the market exists, it makes for a really good opportunity.
Absolutely. So
that's on the lending side. Again, on the deposit side,
correct.
Again, we want the customers who want to keep balances of 20, 30, 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees.
Right.
So, retail this side, it makes for a very stable bank. I tell you, once we have a stable bank, then you can grow forever. Because we are right now building foundation. It's been very tiring for many people to hear that book has not grown. But it's the phase. It's the phase. You come to a one-day international, match and you find you're 10 for 3. You don't come and start hitting sixes.
Correct.
You stabilize the innings for the next 10, 15 overs. You get the score to like 150 for 3, and then you start scoring the runs. It's really that sort of a thinking.
You want to make some predictions about where we could potentially be looking at in the next year, 2 years? Because of course, longer is very difficult, and but
see, let me just say one thing. When you talk of markets, just I want to point out to the opportunity, and it will just blow your mind. We talk of retail loan growth, but the organized salary sector, to just give one data point to you, in the country is not more than 10-15% of the entire employment is organized. So you, me, all the Indian corporates, the 3,000, 4,000 listed companies, all put together, just 10% of India. 90% of Indian employees are either a chemist's employee or a kirana shop's employee or a gig economy or somebody working in a mall. These are employees. That's 90%. And that is completely, I can't say completely, but almost underbanked. Right? Who's given them the credit? So when you think about that market, this market is not going to go away. You can grow for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it'll outlast your and my lives. That's the sort of growth can come from a good foundation. So, seen from that point of view, now, for example, we are right now, say, 60,000 crores of retail can become 80,000, can become 1 lakh crore, can become 2 lakh crore, can become 5 lakh crore. There's no end to this game. It will happen. You can see it in your or my times.
Yes, yes.
And then, of course, corporate is its own value add. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Many times when we are all working, you don't really realize how we're growing so fast.
I'm telling you, you watch the story, and watch the story after 5 years,
Yeah.
you will surprise yourself about how, because that's the power of compounding. You know, when something is coming initially, you don't see the power of it.
Yeah.
You know, one RBI executive director, who unfortunately now passed away, Mr. Vijay Bhaskar, he told me a very interesting story, which I have not forgotten. He said, he's a very fine gentleman, and he said that you pick up a stone, a sand, grain of sand, and tell a child that you multiply this grain by 1 million times and you'll see a mountain. He says, you can't see it. It may be factually correct, but you can't imagine it.
Yes.
Right? Like that, when you're in the stage of early stage, you cannot imagine how good it can become. Absolutely. If only it has good governance, good culture, good systems, good foundation, all that.
Yeah, but you keep talking about foundations. So one of the other foundations which you have been driving a lot in the bank, and this is this whole customer first, customer obsession that we need to have, doing the right thing for our customers. Our brand promise of always you first. You've really been driving it. Now, why is that so important? For us, the key stakeholder is the customer, not so much other stakeholders.
See, when we merged, actually, we had to find a theme.
Yeah.
Every bank has to have a theme.
Right.
Now, what do you go after a theme?
Yeah.
Right. Now, as it is, institutions were merging. In a theme, the moment you figure out a new theme, it's not about this team versus that team, this person versus that person, who stays, who goes. It's not about all that. So, to get away from all this, a new theme emerged, saying customer.
Yeah.
So, whenever you got to merge this division with that division, we say what makes value for customer. So, in a way, when the merger happened, the customer was identified as the key stakeholder, and everything in the bank aligns to the customer. Now, that's one thing. That's on the merger front. More philosophically speaking, who pays our bread? I think this is one fundamental issue people forget. Who pays our bread? Who gives your revenue? Who pays your salary?
Right.
Where do you earn it from? So if you can't respect the person who's paying your bread, then where's this equation?
Yeah.
So the way we think about it is that, and I really want all our employees to think about it, actually I'm happy you asked this question, is that if we do things that is not genuine for the customer, if you flick a small buck from a customer's pocket, add it to your P&L, it will hurt you somewhere at a philosophical level. I really want to say that.
Would you like to narrate an experience that you had outside of banking?
We see experiences all the time in our lives. I shared this with some of the employees, I think, in some part of some video.
Yeah.
I was just, the other day after a run on a Sunday or somewhere, I went to buy some gauze. And the guy, I asked him for 4 or 5 of them, and he looks at 1, 2, he looks at the third, he puts it away, then he adds a 4th, he puts the 5th away. And if you think about it, I asked him, why did you put it on the side? He says, no, sab, aapke liye nahi hai. Why? Yeah. Oh, it's smudged on the side.
Yeah.
Or kuch kharab hai. Yeah. Now, when he's putting 12 of them or 7, 8 of them, I won't know, but he cares.
Yeah.
For him, it's waste, probably, scrap probably, but he cares for us as a customer. So, I think about it, I say, when we too can be truly customer friendly. I want to say one thing to you. If we make fee income as the driver of our thinking, then we can do wrong things. And I just want to, convey that.
No, I totally appreciate that. But there are also moves that we are making with regard to how do we actually look after our wealthy customers in terms of financial, understanding and what all they can perhaps do to make their lives more secure and achieve their financial goals and their personal goals?
See, this is another, let me say underserved, so to say. We talk of underserved population as the poor people of the country,
Yes,
which is also underserved, by the way, and we got to work at it. Yeah. We call the lower middle classes underserved. You can see all around us, they're underserved.
Yeah.
Even middle class is underserved.
Right.
But you'll be surprised, even the so-called well-to-do class, which by the way is much better served. They got relationship manager, banker, this, that, people calling them, giving them information. They're better served. But the population which are truly have financial advice in this country is tiny. You know, I was reading the other day that in the UK, which is a developed country, by the way, mind you, right? Now, not more than 4% of UK population have quality financial advice. Can you beat that?
Wow.
Right? That's 4%.
Yeah.
So therefore, so our country, I'm not in the math, but I can tell you is not more than a fraction of a percent, which is people who are getting relationship managers from banks and stuff like that. It's not even a fraction. So there is a scope for us to take that sort of financial advice down the layer. And it's a very big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I was speaking to one of the tuition teachers the other day, and I asked her, where do you keep your money? And she said, you know, I live with this particular bank. I said, how much money is there? She said, about 2 lakh rupees. I said, what are you earning for it? She said, some 3.5% or something. So I asked her, so what do you do? Do you think there are better ways of keeping this money? She said, nobody told me. I'm keeping this money. I'm happy. I'm safe. But really, I thought about it. I said, she could have done something better with her money.
Yeah.
So people are lacking financial advice even among the well-to-do.
So we're doing something around that space?
We are taking it down the pyramid.
Okay.
But only tech can take you there. Remember, I tell you, intention alone won't take you there.
Right.
Only tech, because we can't afford relationship managers to deal with someone who's keeping, say, 20,000 rupees with you in the bank.
Right.
The economics won't work, and it won't be a sustainable proposition.
Yeah.
So for them, only technology can make it happen. So you develop a interface, a customer gives all the information, you process it and feedback the information. So it has to be tech oriented.
So fantastic. So there is a lot of work at the moment going on with this focus on customer first, both in terms of serving customers as well as in terms of advice that we are actually working on. A lot of investments going on over there. In terms of another foundation, technology. But before I come to the bank technology, what is it that you're seeing in the ecosystem around us in terms of tech, and how is it playing out and how is it impacting businesses as well as us personally?
Well, it is affecting you personally. You see your mobile phone, you use this, you see all sort of information. So you see, the thing is that all these names we talked about, the big tech, the Facebook and Instagram and your Google and Amazon and all the, all the names.
Yeah.
Now, they have data, unlimited amount of data, right, about you, what we do and all that. Then the second part is their ability to harness such data from multiple sources, from your activity, from what you have provided them, vis-a-vis what you do, how well you serve, all that. So harnessing it. The second part of the information, how they use it. This is very critical, how they use the information, and that's where the whole game is. So, as that's the kind of ecosystem changes happening, and that's what we should be able to evolve into, and that power is something really different.
Wow. So that's nice. I want to change tracks a little bit. We've been growing rapidly, but there are other dimensions to who an organization typically would be. For example, take the corporate social area. You've been very much involved with yourself in lending a hand and doing your bit as far as corporate social responsibility, and personally you've been doing these things. I wanted to just check with you, what's your view about how we as an organization need to look at this?
Now, the thing is that apart from our business itself being a very social by nature, we're impacting lives, a portion of our profits, portion of our personal income, portion of everything, can directly be used for a social purpose. So for example, if we did Swachh Bharat, right? You go to Kolivada and then you say, I want to take this whole Kolivada place. It's looking very dirty. It's, full of smell and dirt and pollution and disease, and we've got to clean this up, and therefore local community gets better. That's positive. One of our flagship program is education. Yes. So we say, fine, we enable people who are otherwise meritorious but are poor, and therefore can't afford a higher education, so we support them. So I think it's very important that our employees participate in it, and I think it is a dimension of the bank which we need to really cultivate. I really wish.
I mean, I'm also part of those Saturday meetings that we have. I mean, and this became even such a thing we all looked forward to every Saturday.
So during COVID, we started this Saturday and Saturday call, which now I think we moved to once a fortnight.
Yes.
But I think we made the small committees.
Yeah.
You committee, you focus on masks. Yeah. You committee, you focus on, tiffins or supply. You committee, you focus on giving how the cash deposit going to happen. You committee focus on laborers. So I think, the way people spontaneously came up with the ideas, I really liked it actually.
But two things came out of that, right? All those conversations and stuff like that. And one was this Karma First donations.
Karma is a very nice name. We stumbled on this name. I really liked it actually. I don't know. We were having a group discussion saying that, look, our contribution is one thing. As a bank, you can contribute, right? But there's a limit because you're running an organization and you share a percentage into. But how do we make it a mass movement?
Yeah.
That's where we came up with this idea, saying that let us provide for our customers on the site a very neat interface whereby we give customers the option of coming there. We will enroll the NGOs whom we have, so to say, vetted. We will charge no management fee, that is our cost. And we will enable customers to come there, enter, choose the course, choose the amount, and press the button, and that money gets debited customer's account and goes to the NGO. So I think it's a very crowdsourced way of making a sustainable cause.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, and we've still not gone to the market yet in terms of.
Yeah, it's in a beta mode, but I think it'll go to the market. I mean, we liked the creation of that. We enjoyed it because every micro detail about how this site should look like and how that button should look like, we really fussed over it.
Yes.
But actually, you know what? One day I was flying from, flying British Airways from London maybe about 7 or 8 months ago. This is pre-COVID, let me say.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, when you land, they always say, do you have any loose change with you? I think they call it change for good or something like that. So I got off the flight and I said, man, the customers who are also getting some interest credits from us, on a quarterly basis. So can we ask them to round it off and pass it on to some? It may not hurt them. So if somebody's getting an interest credit of 680 rupees, you told them you wanted to round it off to 700 and pay it off. So they might say, to 600 and pay off 680 rupees to a cost. So that's where they all started saying that can we round off payment and transfer it to a particular cause.
Yeah.
So I think that's also built into Karma.
Yeah.
And Karma is such a nice name, it's got this very philosophical view about what you do, what you do, at least Indian mythology about what you do comes back.
Yeah.
Right, whether it's good or bad. So I think Karma is what we want to push. It's there, it's part of the program.
The employees have been saying, how do I get involved?
That's where our lender shoulder program comes in, We can send a mail to employees saying that we got this program and you may want to contribute. But what if the employee doesn't have money? So I can't keep, we can't be sending mails to them and troubling them to they have to contribute. Yes. People may not have the resources to contribute at that point of time, right? So that's where employee can also lend a shoulder.
Yeah.
So in fact, we named the program Lend a Shoulder. Meaning what actually that we say that we on our site, intranet site, we tell people these are the programs. You may be skilled in maybe digital tools. You may probably go to a slum and teach them how to, you're not financing them, giving them money, but you're teaching them how to download an app and how to download an educational video and how to learn. So it could be anything. So employees can contribute to that.
No, absolutely. And, we've had COVID now since March. This pandemic has really taken all of us by surprise and, everybody grappled with it, people working from home, and it's been difficult. So how's it been for you personally?
See, it's not about me personally, and I think the way the team came about was really amazing. For example, the rural banking team was the other day engaging in one let me call it virtual branch launch, right, so to say, and the kind of work they were doing during COVID was sensational. For example, they were not calling customers and pay me money, pay me money. They were actually calling customers and saying, reaching them, do you have masks at home? We got lost a lot of masks. Can I come and leave some masks for your community? Are you people okay? Customer really appreciated it.
Yes.
So for example, when we, in fact, one of them asked me to send me a video. I actually sent them I shot a song for them on my mobile. And I sent it to them for them to saying that, oh, thanks for all of you. Yeah. So I'm trying to say that that employees work very hard. Everybody knows that, but not hard only for us. Everybody, it is hard for everybody.
Yes.
Particularly small entrepreneurs, small consumers found it extra hard.
Yeah.
Because anyway, they're low on resources.
Yes.
COVID breaks the back.
Right.
It was very hard.
Yeah, but now that things are kind of opening up and people have been coming into work, there is a different feeling that when you come into work and we interact. Like take this conversation for example.
Oh,
imagine if this conversation was happening in electronically.
I mean, I agree with you. Electronic is not the same thing as human, right?
Yes.
You don't get the same feel. You don't see the person in 3D.
Yeah.
I just hope someday hologram technology develops so I can see people in 3D.
Yeah. But this pandemic has also curbed a lot of your movement around the place, right?
I love meeting people and understanding what people are doing and how we can do better. And my mind is always on that front. To that extent, things have got restricted. But I think things have started moving again. The other day, I was in Goa the other day. And, I went to the Goa branch. And it was so much fun because I went to the last day. And to my surprise, suddenly everybody was there. It's a good time.
No, I've seen one or two videos of your travels, and particularly the Goa one, you singing along with the branch staff and all. I think we should put this up for our employees. It's just so fun. I mean,
I'm telling you, when you work in an area that you love, work energizes you. It's not work.
Yeah.
I mean, when I meet the people in the bank, that's the one thing that's thrilling to me because people are enjoying what they do.
Yeah.
And to me, that brings an extra spring in the system. You can't make somebody work.
Yeah.
They want to work.
Yeah.
Right. And I think when I think of work like that, I think of work as joy. I don't think of it like as a burden.
Yeah. No, I think and this work is all coming together. Look, all of us working in IDFC First Bank, we're making our own unique story. We're creating a legacy. And I think in all of this, if I may say so, all of our individual stories are also getting created along with the story of the bank.
That's more important, actually.
Yeah.
I personally somehow I don't think of terms like legacy, that we're building a legacy and all that stuff. Everybody in the history of mankind has built something, and we are all beneficiaries of that build. Right. Even from the merger point of view, we should know that IDFC Bank, even prior merger, had built a liability stack, and we are all inheriting some benefits of it which are building in the future. So everybody has, but I think of in terms of a creation. So if there's one thing that employees should feel in the bank today, is that they should know that they're creating the bank.
Yeah.
It's very different than a bank that's already created. You can also, there are very good banks in India, and employees are also probably doing a good job, and they're growing, and all good things are happening to them, and good things happening to those banks. But what is unique about our bank is that we're early stage. We should not forget that.
Yeah.
And people who are participating in this will just feel a thrill that you're creating something. I just want them to know that.
Yeah.
I take this opportunity of addressing all the employees. Again, what I just told Adrian, that what is special about our phase or our stage of the bank is that everybody's creating something here. And that's something that's very energizing, and I hope all of you enjoy this very unique phase. This phase comes to people's lives only maybe once or twice in their lifetimes. You are one of those.
Absolutely, and I'm enjoying this conversation so much. We could go on and on, You know, I want to congratulate all our employees today. 2 years done, second anniversary, and we're going to get into the third year. Now, is there any last things that you want to tell our employees as we move into the third year and forward?
I say that as of now, you can't even imagine what can be built. This is very early stage, so just think about the opportunities. Second thing I wanted to say is about the fact that genuinely mean customer first, right? When I say genuinely, it means that systemically, not just intent, systemically build such controls that you're actually customer first.
Yeah.
And try that. This is when I mean systemically, the way you write the font, the way you write the logic of your programming, of how you're going to compute interest, how you're going to make ecosystems work with each other, etc. Think customer. Number three, take it to a philosophical level, that I don't want to earn any penny that doesn't belong to us. Because do remember, you are a stock option holder, many employees are, and if you don't get a true income to the bank, and if your stock price goes up because of any unhealthy money, remember you're a beneficiary of such unhealthy money directly, and I think it should hurt you at a personal level.
Yeah.
The third or fourth thing that comes to my mind is that the stage of foundation is broadly set. Of course, we can build more of it, but now the bank will see growth.
Yeah.
I think growth is its own positive hormone. It comes with it. And finally, I'd say that social. I think we have a social role, and we should not forget that.
Absolutely. We're going to share this video with all our employees.
So thanks, all of you. So I take it that all of us have a responsibility. And it's a responsibility because people have expectations of us. Not only of governance, which of course we have to be, but also being able to deliver. I'm happy that in the last 1 year, that is the second, so to say, foundation year, we have covered a lot of ground. Like I said, foundation, not just numbers, but also in the way we work and the culture we build. And the cleanliness about how we run the bank, I think it's all important. I just wish that all of you enjoy the phase of creation of this bank. So thank you, and thank you for your work over the last 1 year, the second foundation year of the bank. Thank you.